Hey, I'm Heyzeus, and in this video, we're going to be talking about the leaked skins of CSGO. Sponsored by Skinport, the easy-to-use skins marketplace where you can sell your skins for real cash, more about them later, and also supported by VLoot, the great site with tons of cool giveaways. Links for both these sites are in the pinned comment. So, you might not know this, but Valve actually has this huge internal collection of skins they've made that they haven't added to the game yet. Tons and tons of them. And while most of these skins are completely unknown, there are bits and pieces that have been gradually leaked over the years. And in this video, I want to have a look at all the leaked stuff that's popped up, including all the stuff that was eventually added to the game and all the stuff that wasn't. So, the first leaked skins are from before CSGO even came out. You know those default knives that everyone hates? Well, during the alpha version of CSGO, default knives were a little bit different. Specifically, terrorists had flip knives and CTs had bayonets. Now, I don't know why these really interesting knives were changed out for these boring pieces of garbage that we have today. I don't think Valve had even thought of skins at this point, but for some reason they were. And later on, Valve realised they could repurpose these things as extremely expensive cosmetics, and I'm sure none of that was initially intended, but it was definitely a brilliant business move. But when CSGO did come out, it linked 3 more knives in the process, specifically a knife called the Classic Knife, a knife called the Survivability Knife, and a knife called the M48 Tomahawk. Now, there was no textures or models included for these knives, but they were very clearly referenced in the game files. Someone had obviously made models for them somewhere, and eventually, 2 of them showed up. The Bowie knife was released as part of Operation Wildfire in 2016, and the Classic Knife was released as part of CSGO's anniversary case in 2019. And while we haven't ever seen that Tomahawk again, it's very likely it is sitting on a computer somewhere in Valve's offices, although at this point, it's probably gone the way of Half-Life 3. But anyway, the next big set of leaked skins would occur during early 2017, between March and May. Valve leaked quite a lot of stuff around this time. Firstly, a whole bunch of unused glove skins were added to the game. They weren't found in any case at the time, they were just kind of added at random, and people didn't really know what to make of them. Well, aside from Anomaly, who saw it as a chance to make a video.
So here's the proof that they are actually in the files, and as you can see there are different new hand wraps, moto gloves, slick, they are the driver gloves, specialist and sporty.
And Anomaly's video showcased some pretty cool unreleased gloves, like these red hand wraps and these red sports gloves and these positively orgasmic sports gloves Fang. And while none of these skins have been released yet, 2 gloves Anomaly showcased were released in the clutch case a year later in 2018. These pink sports gloves, aka the sports gloves Vice, and also these gloves, which ultimately turned into the Moto gloves POW. But around the same time, Valve were adding HUD icons for a bunch of new knives too, specifically a knife called the Canis, a knife called the Cord, and a knife called the Ursus. It was a bit random, not gonna lie, but eventually they did serve a purpose, because the Ursus knife was released as part of the Horizon case a bit more than a year later, and the Canis and Cord knives were released as a Survival and Paracord knives respectively as part of Operation Shattered Web. And I still don't get why Valve added the HUD icons for these 2.5 years in advance. It seems like they came a bit early, but it does show you they had these knives sitting around for ages before adding them. But Shattered Web would bring a whole bunch of leaked skins in its own right. You see, this operation had these flavour images for each week's missions, and people quickly started noticing skins that weren't meant to be there. So it all started with this image. This was the image for week 7, and people noticed a very weird looking Glock in this terrorist holster. That is a Glock Pink DD pad, and if you don't know what that is, it's because it doesn't exist. But there is an AWP Pink DD pad, and you can make a Glock Pink DD pad really easily by editing the game files. So I'm sure Valve have this skin in their big folder of unreleased skins, but it's just never been added to the game. And once someone spotted this, the community got looking, and they started noticing this skin popping up in other places. And that wasn't all, because they also noticed other unreleased skins like this XM1014 Urban DD pad. Sure, that texture exists, but we'd never seen it used on that weapon before. But weirdest of all, they also found some CTs using a USPS blue DD pad, which was a pattern that no one had ever even seen before, so something weird was definitely up, and Valve did not make it seem any less weird when they responded by going and deleting every single one of these images and then remaking them from scratch without the leaked weapons. Completely remade. So, clearly, these things were not meant to be there. Now, I'm not sure whether these skins were being planned for release and then cut, or whether they were being used as placeholders or something like that. Ultimately, we don't really know, but given that Valve removed them, I think we can be pretty confident that something went seriously wrong when they were included. And speaking of things going seriously wrong, that did not end with Operation Shattered Web. So for Operation Broken Fang, Valve sent out a promotional email to everyone on their mailing list who plays CSGO. And in this email, they decided to include an image of one of the hot new M4A1S skins they were adding to the game. I mean, they're pretty snazzy. It's obviously the sort of thing you'd want to show off. But whoever made the image for the email accidentally included the unreleased M4A1S case hardened instead. Oops. Now, again, this is an easy skin to make. People in the community have done it, and I'm sure Valve have a copy of this skin in their unreleased skins folder. Hell, they've even showcased a FAMAS case hardened before, but this thing here is definitely a bit of a screw up. And of course, because it's an email, they can't go back and change it now. So yeah, oops. But for our final set of Link skins, well, we're actually going back to gloves, because Broken Fang didn't just bring a whole bunch of new gloves, it also included a bunch of unreleased gloves in the game files. And again, Anomaly was all over it.
The first day of the operation, I went and I unpacked all of the pictures from the CSGO files, and then I went through them.
And in the process, he dug up a bunch of interesting gloves. Now, I'll let you watch the whole video if you're interested in seeing them all, but my favorites were the Moto Gloves Doppler, the Driver Gloves Bamboo, and the Hand Wraps Nuclear. And while we don't know for certain whether any of these gloves are going to make it into the game or not, it's definitely a pretty cool snapshot of what might be coming up for the game. And honestly, I wish Valve linked stuff like this a little bit more often. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this video. If you've enjoyed it, please like, comment, and subscribe, massively appreciate it. And a big thank you to Dual Toxic for making that Glock Pink DD Pat for me. It made my life a lot easier, and also a big thank you to Skinport for sponsoring this channel. Skinport, formerly known as Skinbay, it's the same site. All that's changed is the name, is a skins marketplace and cash out site. It's safe, convenient, easy to use. It's got a super competitive sales fee of 5% if you put skinport.com in your username, a really, really low fee if you're looking to sell your skins. If you're looking to buy instead, it's got a ton of great deals with over 100,000 CSGO skins listed, as well as easy to use deposit and withdrawal options. Awesome site, check it out, link is in the description. Anyway, that's it from me. As always, trust the numbers, not your guts. I'm Heyzeus, thanks for watching, see ya.